I think most interesting will be probably three areas. So one is the inflation outlook and what they plan to do about it. It has never been as weak as it is today over the medium term. The other area is obviously the discussion about the currency and what options they see in tackling that one, and whether to what extent they're really worried about it. And last but not least, the Fed strategy review conclusion and potential implications for the ECB will probably also feature on the agenda.
And in terms of currency, that seems to be front and center for in a lot of investors' minds. Do you think that we will see Madame Lagarde push back in a meaningful way against the euro's strength?
So they don't have a lot of options, quite frankly. So they could, for example, go for a written intervention via inserting a line into the introductory statement. They have done that in the past. And as you mentioned, the president could obviously decide to push back somewhat more forcefully during the press conference. But whatever they do, we do not think it will durably impress the market, given the widespread perception that there's actually very little they can and will do about an appreciating euro.
So even if we do see the European Central Bank make clear that they are monitoring the currency, as we heard from various ECB speakers recently, and that it does play a role in monetary policy setting, does it actually mean that we break the euro's upward trend?
Yeah, it's not obvious. The context of obviously the appreciation matters. There are some voices who say that it's primarily an US affair. There are others saying that this has been driven by European matters primarily. So it depends a lot on the context. And also there have been offsetting forces. And frankly, you could make the argument that the euro at the current stage is not particularly overvalued either. So overall, I think they will probably bring it up. And it might feature in the review of today's press conferences, but we do not think, that it will change the direction of travel for the euro in a longer-lasting fashion.
Konstantin, I want to talk to you about financial conditions. You raise an interesting statistic in your latest research that the June meeting accounts referenced financial conditions 23 times. This fell to just 9 times in the July meeting. What does this tell you about the European Central Bank's focus?
Yeah, it tells me that the PEP had 2 tasks, right? One was to tackle market fragmentation and bring primarily Southern European spreads down. And the other is obviously the overall stance of the financial conditions to bring them closer in line to where conditions have been pre the pandemic. And the ECB is certainly very happy with the first part of the exercise. So if you look at Italy bond spreads currently, they are pretty much where they have been. And the question now is whether it is enough to bring financial conditions just to the level where they've been pre-pandemic, or whether they should be much looser. So the sense we've got is that from the discussion in the minutes is that they're somewhat more relaxed on fragmentation and financial conditions, and the focus is shifting again towards the medium-term outlook for inflation, which, as I've mentioned earlier, is historically weak.